TV and radio will all come on to your house via video. When they're at home by the fire, it won't be hard to realize your heart's desire for the greatest sight you've ever seen. Spend a night by a television screen. This is television bliss, and you're missing something that is sure to interest you. See, television lights, it really happens, that's it. Don't go snapping over to the other show. We want so much to tell you all about it, show you what makes it tick. If you've any reason left to doubt it, come on inside, make it quick. This is television with its snap decision as you've never seen before. Believe it, this is television in the raw.
Welcome. Tonight we return to a world when TV was fun, new and exciting, and full of hard riding, straight shooting, and suspense. The wonderful world of kids' TV. There'll be tributes to the old favourites like the Mickey Mouse Club, Superman, Sheena, Samurai, Skippy, and Sergeant Preston. As well, from a time when milk was good for you and an arrowroot really meant something, episodes of Captain Midnight, also known as Jet Jackson, the Caped Crusaders of Camp, Batman and Robin, plus the Cisco Kid.
Oh, fuck.
Remember this one.
Take the little rock kid and say, don't you know who this is? Don't you know who this is? And the little kid's looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm saying, I'm dying, I'm dying.
That's right, it was Lois Lane, Noel Neal. And of course, our traditional Where Were They Then? With a look at Olivia Newton-John, and it's a look she may prefer to forget.
See the sun in the sky, always riding high at Christmas time, down under. It will be no surprise.
Tears were kids, growing up, and in some cases out.
This portion of your Mickey Mouse Club is brought to you by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola.
There was a very big audition, what they call a cattle call, and I was 12, going on 13 at the time, and you had about 8 minutes to do your thing. And I played a bunch of musical instruments, sang an imitation of Johnny Ray, singing Cry, did a tap dance, you know. I played like 7 musical instruments. I don't know how I got that all together in, 8 minutes, but that's how it happened. When I got the job, the Mouseketeers were already famous. They had already been on for 2 years. The show only ran for 3, but people think it ran a lot longer. It only ran for 3. I got the job on the 3rd year, so when I went down there, I was surrounded by my heroes, and Annette, and Bobby, and Cubby, and Karen, and, all these great kids, and I was just, I was flabbergasted, I thought it was great. When you're having that much fun, and I have to say that the Mouseketeers were really a blast. I mean, I was kind of one of the younger kids. Here I was coming into these somewhat professional kids. They were older, Annette, Lonnie, and so forth. They were hip, I learned a lot real fast. We hung out a lot together. We'd go out to Disneyland, stay in the hotels, and they'd open up the rooms, and we'd just have a big party. I don't even remember what school was like. It was like
9, I think, when I started the Mouseketeers. Actually, the Mouseketeers was the result of an interview that I was sent on by my fencing instructor. My father was an amateur fencer, and my brother and I started taking fencing lessons and dancing lessons at a place called Falcon Studios here in Hollywood. And when the call went up from Disney Studios that they were looking for exceptional children, why, they sent a horde of them over from Falcon Studios, and my brother and I did a little fencing, and I did a little tap dancing, and I did my imitation of Johnny Ray. But they dropped me after the first season.
Why was that?
Because I guess I was a little slower than the others at learning the dance routines, I think. Perhaps I couldn't take my eyes off of Annette long enough to concentrate during rehearsal.
I went through 5 auditions, Jimmy Dodd, the choreographer, the producers, and the director, you know, the whole thing. How many did you go through?
I just had one.
Just one? Oh, well, I was the amateur, she was the pro. But anyway, yeah, they pretty much had storyboards, you know, showing exactly what was going to happen on Fun with Music Day and that kind of thing. And
Yeah,
they knew who were the heavy dancers and the heavy singers.
But I had no idea that the show was going to be
The phenomenon
type of
it
hit.
became.
In fact, I didn't even realize what impact it had until we went to Australia.
I know. It's funny. I think it was more popular in Australia than it was in America. Believe it or not, it was popular here. But over there, we were like teen idols. I mean, when we were there in '59 and '60, they tried to turn over our cabs and rip our clothes off and scream. And there were 10,000 at the airport to meet us when we got off the plane. And I think Melbourne was the first stop.
Right.
Melbourne.
And do you remember we had to turn and run back to the airplane because the people got through the barricade?
Oh, yeah.
Running
Yeah,
after
it was
us?
exciting.
They had to roll us through the crowd on the boarding ramp.
And when we'd do our songs and dances, they'd scream, and we thought we were like Elvis, you know. That never happened over here.
Coming up, we reunite the members